G'day everyone, and welcome to a brand new year and a brand new season of the Joey Wiggle Experience. It's great to have you all back with us once again, and boy, oh boy, we have got quite a guest with us today. In fact, he's quite an important guest too because, as you may know, starting this podcast a year ago is something that I wasn't expecting, but because I was inspired by another particular YouTuber and another mate doing his own podcast, I felt that it was important to have him on the show today so we can talk all about his experience doing the podcast that he's done, and of course him working alongside me for years. You guys may famously know him literally by the name of his show, Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Please welcome, a very special welcome to the show, the magnificent Jake Deffinbaugh. G'day, Jake.
G'day, Joey. Thank you so much for having me. Wow. In a way, I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed, but thank you for the wonderful introduction, and thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure that, it's always a great opportunity for someone to just want to talk to me, just have to tell my story out when I've been asking so many people on my podcast, tell their stories. Now it's my turn. So thank you for the opportunity for that, Joey. And wow. And to those, who will be seeing this, literally the day we're doing it, well, at least on my end, it's literally January 1st. So literally the first day of the new year is, I'm gonna be a guest on someone's podcast. All right, what a great way to start.
Talk about starting the podcast on literally the first day of the year as well. But yeah, honestly, can I just say it is great to have you here. And also, how has it been so far? I mean, we're in 2026. Isn't it crazy too? I've literally just it took me a little bit to realize too that it's been like we're almost like at the end of the decade. We're already more than halfway through the 2020s, and it's also been like 6 years now when you think about it. 6 years since COVID happened, and it's like
crazy.
It's really flying by, man.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, before we get things started, thank you again for having me on, Joey. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun talking about a lot of things that I've done. It's gonna be a wild one, but it's gonna be great.
It should honestly just be called Wild Ones with Joey.
Lily, but thank you again, Joey. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, it's very great to have you on the show. And like I mentioned earlier, part of the reason why it's good to have you on the show, and I think important to have you on the show, is because you yourself are notably known today. You're best well known in the community. I mean, any kind of nostalgia community, or the autism community, or the Wiggles community, or just those kind of communities. You're best known for hosting your own podcast, which has actually gained a lot of attention over the years because of the guests you've had on the show, including some of the ones that we've had on the Joey Wiggle Experience, like Philip Wiltshire and Keith Scott. And it's great to, and honestly, like I said, you've had so many wonderful guests, like people who've worked on shows for PBS and like Sesame Street, and it's just, the list goes on and on and on. The Teletubbies, there's so many. Arthur, Between the Lines, it's just, there's so many guests that you've interviewed. And so what I'm inspired to know, what inspires me is the fact that you guys have such great questions, and you also do a pretty good in-depth interview with the guests that you have. Obviously, even having the Wiggles on the show. So what inspired you particularly, Jake, to start your own podcast? Like, what was because obviously it's under your name as well, Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. What was for you the main inspiration of I know the logo's in the background too. Oh man, what a collaboration. But what was the inspiration for you personally to start your own podcast, the Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for asking. Wow, to start this off. Wow. But before I'm gonna like answer this initially. I mean, I'm glad that there are people like you, Joey, that want like inspired to do their own podcast just because of how the way we do, the way our format goes, and how just how the episode goes, and how just how the our research and how it makes the guests like fun to have on, from the way me and Chris, um, just it's just the way how we do it. It's you know they just want to kind of do something different, instead of like just having where try to have at least have the conversation be like real instead of like it's like I mean, yeah we have of course we will have questions and all, but it's like at the same time we kind of just usually just rather just I mean asking it that question, but like not as like what is your experience, like we're like we just kind of just like thought out, we just want like
Yeah.
it feels like we want like the vibe of the interview can be like very like they were genuine to talk to each person. So it's great for us to be able to do it. I mean also because how the way our format goes and the way we do, of course there are always things that we want to do if we want to think that we should do something different with that certain thing, whatever, because podcast is always a collaboration. You can't do a
Yeah.
podcast just only by yourself. No way. You
Mm.
gotta have some people like help out with some things, and probably another person with other things, and to contribute. But
Yeah.
um, but um, but yeah, so I just want to say, I'm glad that, like I said, I'm glad that there are people like you that want to do a podcast because of our show. So I feel inspired and honored. So thank you
Mm.
again for being a fan and just being just wanna they just wanna be a part of this now. So it's that means a lot. Sometimes I completely forgot that there are people out there that like enjoy what we're doing,
Mm.
but to those but for me, like when I do get a chance to think of that, it warms my heart. So
Yeah.
thank you for that you want to do it. Now we're doing this together.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun. But anyway, to kind of like answer it initially how it started. So um obviously because with me, nostalgia, when we were talking about the Wiggles Roblox stuff, I'll talk more with that. But it's kind of like that. That's kind of before. I mean, actually, okay. You know what? Actually, all right. I'll break it down that order. So I'm gonna talk about the Wiggles community part first, and then um the Nostalgia Show, because it kind of makes sense. So, excuse me. So
That's all right. Take your time, man. Yeah, this is all on you. This is your platform.
well,
This is. Can I just say before you start? This is what I like about these shows and the podcasts as well. Is that I love that there's like the thing that's why they become so popular is because there's no time limit. Everyone can have as long as they want to chat about anything. I think that's honestly why podcasts today are now replacing talk shows because there's no time limit. Like everyone has an infinite amount of time to talk about anything. But yeah, anyway, this is all you, man. You go right ahead. I'll let you do all the talking to
okay, well, thank you for saying that, Joey. All right, so of course, with me growing up, of course, I watched a lot of wonderful shows. If people are like are asking me like, what are some of your favorite shows growing up? Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, obviously, you don't. Honestly, I don't even know who these four guys are. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Who are those guys on the show?
But yeah, of course, at the Wiggles, Barney, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, Bear in the Big Blue House, Between the Lions, Frog Rock. A lot of wonderful shows. But um, uh, but pretty much, I mean, I remember I was watching them so much, like when I was like, I mean, I actually have pictures of me. I was little holding like certain stuff, but I'll get to that when it gets to the right time. But um, so pretty much is um okay. So of course I watch pretty much a lot of those shows. And then when it gets to like during like throughout my middle school years, that was when I was kind of like, I think I was kind of morally moved on from it. I wasn't like, I don't want to watch these now. I was just kind of like more just moving on from it or something.
Nah, I
I
think
don't know.
we've all been through that. Yeah,
I'm sure we have, we have certain parts of our life that we don't watch certain things we like, and now we back onto it, But okay, so it was when I just got into high school, and that was back in 2018. So that was the time I have Roblox, and now not a lot of people. Okay, even there's gonna be parts throughout this whole chat. There's some parts that I don't think I ever talk about it. So talk to anyone yet. So this is gonna be interesting. So before I was involved with the Wiggles Roblox community stuff, before I was before I was involved with all these things. Now, I was initially joining Roblox because I was kind of involved with the Halo Roblox jumping community. Now, to those, some of you may know it, most of you may not. It's pretty much the Roblox version of an online community based on an NBC show called American Ninja Warrior, which I was a big fan of that show since like, oh my gosh, when I was like, I was like 7 or 8 at that time. So, and I was a big fan. I was pretty much a big fan of that show. And then and I've heard that they're like, oh, if you want to be on courses, go on Roblox, and. So that's literally the first community I was initially a part of. And then, yeah. So, and I was doing it for a while, and then it was 2018, and then I discovered. I mean, of course, I'm still a fan of Ninja War, but not as much. Well, not as much now. I'm just not as much. I was younger, but I still appreciate it. That's sure still going. But anywho, so pretty much is I right. So okay, so it was 2018. So there was a game on Roblox. I don't remember how I got it. It might have been came out of nowhere or something. I don't remember how I first know about it. But there is a game on Roblox that's simply called The Robloxian Wiggles Big Big Show.
Mm.
And that was like the very first Roblox Wiggle show that I ever went to in 2018. Yeah, so I mean around that time, I think I just went. I was kind of joining the Barney Roblox community, but that was only just for a little bit, just in that period of time. Not as much anymore, but
And this was before. Can I just say this was before Roblox? I mean, I think it was when it was starting to take off because I remember hearing about it in 2013 2014, 2015 wasn't as popular then, but because I only saw the Wiggles stuff related to it. But it's obviously grown to something else now. Like it's
Oh
next
yeah,
level.
it's crazy. But
But like this
anyway,
was before it became super popular.
yeah, in a way, yeah. So I was joining, so I was joining the game, and I was just watching it, and I was like being like 14 at that time. I remember I was like, whoa. So hold on. So you can just do a Wiggle show on Roblox and on an online game? Like what? Like I was like memorized. I was like memorized by that. I was kind of like stoked by it. I was like, there's people out there like do these type of stuff, and that whole thing changed my life, and that's how the things that I'm doing now. But I'll talk more to that. But so pretty much because of that, that's how I initially met my wonderful friend and my co-host Chris Bixby. That's how me and him, know each other. That's how me and Chris know each other. Pretty much, like I mean, definitely around that period. I mean, definitely either late 2018 or early 2019. I think maybe late 2018. I think maybe, because that was when I was kind of first kind of joined in, and then so I was, yeah, okay. So I, and then of course, as more years comes by, I started to be involved in a lot of groups. Like for example, the one group, the very first I ever went to, Roblox and Wiggles. It was 2020. That was when the year that Tyler, Jake, and Liam were like hanging their scabies. I mean, Tyler's doing wonderful things now, but he's involved in the rock band around his area, which is wonderful, which is
Oh,
great.
Tyler, yeah, no, he's amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah, getting to meet him, it was so great. Kind of
Yeah,
full circle
I
moment.
noticed you
Kind
met
of
him.
full
Yeah,
circle
that's crazy,
moment.
dude.
It's like a full circle moment. I was seeing his a band of Scorch Waves performing over here at the DC, and it was so fun. Like me getting to after knowing him online for many years, and actually finally get to actually one with him. It's such a full circle moment, but it was a fun day that me and Ty got to spend a little bit. But
Yeah.
thankfully for both Tyler and Jake for making the community even started. I mean, they're great. But anyway, moving forward and going back to what I was saying. So of course I was more involved in more groups. Like Roblox and Wiggles, Hot Potatoes, Chris group, the Wiggly Bloxians. Oh gosh, I mean, there's so much.
It would have been just too many to choose from.
Yeah, exactly. And some more, but of course, I'm a Wiggle now in two groups. I was just got back at being back as a Web Wiggle on Let's Wiggle. But for like last like 5 years or so, I've been a Web Wiggle for Wiggle Roblox. So how I first got into those groups, I think because me and Matthew were like good friends. I think he asked me to be read, and then there are times I left, and then kind of come back, and then left. But now I just came back. But now with Roblox, it's really interesting. So I mean, it's always fun, when all four of us, me, Toby, Lance, and Chris, four of us, getting to, it's cool that for the whole all the people that being aware of Wiggle and that group, I'm like the longest one, which is awesome. But so pretty much what happened is, so Toby like made like some sort of like a test to everyone in the cast and crew about the knowledge of the group or something. And I think I was the one who got the most. So that's how I got it. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember like Tyler. Yeah. So how I first got into Boxing Wiggles as a dancer. I remember Tyler messaged me. Back then, it was that time we always like use Skype before we kind of move on to Discord. I remember Tyler messaged me and said, "Hey man, do you want to be a good dancer for Boxing Wiggles?" And I was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Yes, of course, Tyler." And then I became, Wiggy dancer, and I've been doing their shows like the Wiggy Party. Oh gosh, it was a Wiggy Party, some sort of concert, and then it was pretty much the rest of the shows in 2020 afterwards.
Mm.
Including the Celebration tour, which oh my gosh, that tour was, especially the last show, gave me emotional. Even the same thing with the very last show the Black Wiggles ever did, with all the Wiggles like come all to one, doing all this final show together. Unless unless Tyler wanted that could come back in certain way for little things, and you never know. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But um um but yeah, so pretty much um uh yeah. So okay, so yeah, so it was around 2021. So that's when the group, which is kind of crazy that it's going to eventually later in the year will be our 5th year of our show. So, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
wow, 5 years, dude. That's crazy. So 2021. That was around the time. We were both doing incredible things at the time. I mean, I was just starting out on YouTube the year before in 2020. So it's now my
Okay.
6th year on YouTube officially. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm closer to 10 now than I am to. It's oh wow. But what I was going to say was, yeah. So we were both doing incredible things at the time. So for me personally, actually, we'll start with you. With you, you were starting the
Oh,
podcast, and then with me, I was starting a fan dub.
yeah. Which we will talk about those
Later,
in
yeah, I
a
know. There's going to be a
little bit
lot. We will
too.
definitely talk about that, but we definitely need
Um,
to go into detail about the podcast first because that one, I think that one surprised a lot of people because it was something. Because I remember seeing it. I think it was during 2020. I think it might have been when it was just starting out. I think I'm not too
was
sure.
it from our interview with Philip or something?
Yeah, I think it was the Philip one. That's when I was. And can I just say, dude,
Okay.
what was interesting about the Philip episode when the show was starting was that was my first introduction to it, and also it was the first time we actually heard Philip, like after the Wiggles. I think a lot of us were so surprised because no one had actually interviewed him before until you did on Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. That was incredible.
I sometimes forgot that it was the case.
The
Oh
first
my
major
goodness.
interview he had on like the
Yeah, the
internet.
podcast like related, like a
Yeah.
podcast like the format, right? Okay,
Mm. We
got
just
it.
had
But
but we did ours a little bit longer, a little bit more in depth, and also
yeah,
the
but
current climate of
yeah,
the week. So it was more updated, but it's still nonetheless.
yeah, yeah. Philip's great, a great friend of mine. Always, he's a great supporter of our show and a great
Yeah.
supporter. What I'm doing with my puppetry stuff. He's a great mate all around. But yeah, I'm sure he's probably watching. So hello, Philip.
Hello,
You're best
Philip.
mates, and all blessings to you and Mischief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darby actually met
Um,
Philip as well. My producer and co-host Darby. Yeah, like he actually went to Sydney and met with Philip, and they went they went together to get KFC and to go to the location where they filmed Mrs. Bingle's school, which I've also been to. How crazy! We were
yeah,
at the location where they
I,
filmed the school.
I wish I could just I can just go to Australia just to meet the OGs and just see the Wiggles movie like locations like that's
Have you ever been to Australia? You'd love it, man.
bro I wish
Just the extensive, yeah.
literally, I would just go to Australia if the OGs are doing a concert, reunion concert. There's any chance, like,
I think it was Cole. I think it was Cole or something. He came to Australia. What commitment!
yeah,
Coming all the way down under just to watch the OG Wiggles. It's like
that's I mean, I probably yeah, I know.
Go to the beach.
Yeah, so
you're in Sydney. Go to Bondi. Go for a swim.
Let's go swim.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so going back to the podcast part. So literally, all right. So at first, like, that kind of, it's like, it would be cool if I started. So some of the podcasts I discovered, one of the podcasts I discovered initially, it was Carrie Stinson's first podcast. Carrie Stinson, which Barney performer for Barney between like pretty much the live shows for Barney's Big Surprise Musical Castle, and then went on to do the series season 7 through 14. So he first did his first podcast, which was the first it was called as Purple Tales, and then he went on to Purple Roads. And I was kind of inspired, from how just because the Barney people he got, and all these great people. And initially, before Jake's Time Saw Show, I originally did a Barney podcast. Only lasted for one episode. We just call it Happy Dom Mites podcast. So that's what it was. And it was Tia Fredrickson. It was like only guests of it. It was me and Matthew. Matthew was the former co-host of Jake's Time Saw Show. So it was just me and him. And I just kind of just like, I was like, you know what? Instead of me doing a podcast just based on just one certain franchise, I can just get all these people on from no matter what franchises. I can just put all of them to one. Instead of like focus like in that one certain show. It's like a lot more opportunities to, So, but yeah, so I started watching them, and I was like, and I want to do a podcast myself. And literally, if I didn't get back to the Wiggles back in 2018, literally, just saying this right now, we wouldn't be talking to each other. We wouldn't talk to each other.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Because like if I didn't get back to them, I wouldn't do my podcast. I wouldn't do my puppetry. I wouldn't get back to the things I loved growing up that I got back to. None of this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the Wiggles Woolbox community or anything. So Tyler, he changed my life and all that, for a community that, and Jake too, but yeah. So I don't remember how the name came, with how Jake's Happy Saw Show came, but I feel like I remember initially it was something different. I think it was like Jake's something nostalgic. I don't remember. And I was like, I think I might have came up with happy parts. I was like, just wait a minute. Let's just have the name. Let's just be like people are actually be happy to see the title, because I'm sure nostalgia gives a happy joy and happy to look back to, and just in general. So I think it was when I started out. I started out trying to figure out how to kind of get it started, and then I remember Chris. You know what? I think I told Chris I was doing it or starting it. I think, and maybe that. Excuse me, but I think he messaged me saying, "Hey, I've heard that you're starting a podcast. Do you want is if do you want me to help? Do you want me to help out? And I was like, sure, and just the rest is history. I mean, before he became a ghost with Jake Samasaw, she's already had like a podcast experience already because because for a period of time he was a co-host, and our dear buddy of ours, the wonderful DJ Bob Wonko from his own podcast, the DJ Bob Show. I truly love Bob very much. He's a great person, especially he's great. Same as with Chris too. I mean Chris, the one who kind of like introduced me to Bob. So I'm grateful for knowing the two of them. But and then so pretty much we just kind of started, and then obviously we never thought. We didn't think about, all right, let's try and do this for fame. I wasn't like that. I'm just kind of more like, all right, you know what? Let's keep doing it and just see what happens. We're having fun doing this. Let's keep going. And then we just kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. It just never stopped. And then we just became like, I think it was some sort of like a COVID project initially.
Yeah.
But then
obviously at the time, that was pretty much the only way everyone was communicating, was literally through Zoom and remote.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then we just became like, keep going and do more episodes. Like it just never stopped. All of a sudden we just having so much fun doing it, and then, boom, in our 5th year. It's like amazing,
dude. It's incredible. So how many episodes have you guys done so far?
Let me look. Honestly, even over
300.
Even I have a podcast. Sometimes I forget how many episodes I have, or that we've done, just because we're always just up. It's like it's crazy. So right now we have like 339 episodes.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
And just over 2K subscribers.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of episodes, and especially depending on the guests you get, it's a lot of attention, because it's any time you've got a guest who's worked on a show like Sesame Street or Thomas the Tank. I mean, honestly, the Thomas and the Train community is just like. They just literally, it's the funniest thing when you mention the franchise once, you're gonna get a community of diehard fans attached to it. It's like we had one with Keith Scott, because he was the original voice of Diesel in Thomas the Magic Railroad, and as soon as we talked about it, man, people are interested because we're talking about the movie Magic Railroad. So it's funny to see that there's certain communities out there that are just diehard, like crazy, in a good way, not in a negative way, obviously. And I have no problem with that, because I grew up watching Thomas the Tank Engine myself. But I don't want that to be perceived as because I think the hardest thing when running these shows is that, what do we do moving forward? Because obviously, imagine it's like, especially if it gets a lot of attention, it's one of the hardest things. Like, do I continue interviewing guests who are related to that show, or should I keep a variety on it and interview all these other guests? It's one of the hardest things running a podcast and a show. It's like, because I've talked about this with my co-host. And it's like, do we actually go down this route? And I'm thinking maybe not. We want to make sure we keep a variety of guests on the show, because there's obviously, there's a bunch of different people that have worked in this industry, not just people who are working on Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you want to keep a variety.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to do. We just want to know, like, we can just have anyone, on, from just. Just pick out from certain part, another one. It's not like, oh, okay, we have to pick certain. Like, no, like we can, we're just great about it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like it's having a certain amount of variety, That way it's really important that you're not just sticking to a certain show or brand. And I think that's what makes your show stand out in particular, because it's not just like other shows that will only talk about Barney and Friends, which like if it's under if the show's related to Barney, then obviously they're going to talk about the shows related to Barney and things related to Barney. And the
Yeah,
same with
obviously,
anything
yeah.
related to and like the same thing would apply to Sesame Street and the Wiggles. But this is our shows. I find our shows different. Yes, I know my name is Joey Wiggle, but I've stated before, and to you and to a lot of other people, and I think you would agree, is that we want to keep our shows. We want to have a mix. Like we're not just interviewing people who were involved with just the Wiggles or just Sesame Street. But
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
about interviewing people who have made impacts, who've worked in the children's industry, that have played such big roles in our childhoods and for our parents and grandparents' childhoods, even kids now. Like it's a mix as well. Like the guests you have they've worked for decades on in the industry. So it's wonderful to have them on, and just to hear about the magic behind what they did, because obviously some of the stuff they've done have played such a huge role in shaping who we are today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even me as well, of course. For just I'm always intrigued in how with certain guests they come to have, and how they got involved in a certain series, how their love of certain field came to and it's always intriguing to having wonderful stories. And but but yeah, we just kind of just kept on doing it, and then all of a sudden we're still doing it. And then, we have such a wonderful team, of course. Bob, kind of be like a producer, and of course our wonderful editors, of course Chris too, Baby Lamb Creations, on YouTube, Simon, uh, Drew Wells, and Miles is an editor, pretty much main editor for Colloquial 9, Ryan Boyd's YouTube videos, pretty much. So yeah, so they, of course there are things that me and Chris, do, where I do my things and Chris on some other things to contribute, instead of like one person doing all of it. Sometimes it takes a lot to get certain things for our podcast to be done, with making a notes, making a timestamps for certain for the editors to edit or send pictures, or it's a lot of sometimes people don't really understand like how much a podcast can really, how much hard work for doing just a podcast behind the scenes.
Yeah,
But
because it's like, because that's the thing too. I mean, that's why, especially if you're making revenue from your shows, it's like it's very important that the people who help produce the episodes behind the scenes get
yeah,
revenue as well. Like it's never just about the host. It's always about the people who've worked behind the scenes, and that's why I've kept that in mind to the eventually when monetization comes into play, because obviously with
yeah,
your show, because you have over 2,000 subscribers, and because it's always like not involving any copyright and stuff, obviously when it comes to monetization, and it's all right, you don't have to say exactly how much you make, because we're not going to like totally confidential stuff, but usually when it comes to monetization, so how would you split that between you and your co-host, and also just the people who work behind the scenes? Because obviously I think it's very important that anyone who works on the show is equally, I mean, I don't even know how it works. Sometimes I would look up percentages just to kind of get an idea of like, okay, so hosting the show would be probably, I would say 60 or 70% of whatever you make, and then like the next 30, oh no, but then YouTube takes some, which is annoying. I hate it. That's why I use
yeah.
Patreon.
It's like
That's why I don't.
Yeah,
Even, like, the Patreon stuff
we
pays
haven't been
more than
able.
YouTube, yeah.
I mean, we haven't. There are times that me and Chris kind of like talk about it a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure it'll that we will like go on like with it, get that whole going, but uh, but yeah, I mean, all I can really say is keep an eye out for a lot of wonderful episodes coming your way, and just and um and wonderful things will be coming this year for our 5th year, so keep it out for that, everyone. But I'm sure you probably might. I'm sure most likely you're probably gonna ask me this question, just because there's so many wonderful episodes of the show. I'm sure you're probably gonna ask this question to me, at some point, which is it one of the questions you're going to say, like, what were my favorite episodes of the show?
I know some people would probably be asking, and I mean, don't worry, I would probably get asked that as well. But you can answer that one first if you want.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. There are so many wonderful guests that I can just go on. But I'm gonna say 2 guests. One of them, what I'm about to say, is kind of corny for me to say it. Well, in a good way. Kind of makes sense. Kevin Clash, because just because he's one of my favorite puppeteers, and getting a chat with him, he doesn't do much podcasts or anything. So getting a chat with Kevin, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And now
the guy's Elmo, for God's sake. I mean, he's really Elmo.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Dillon's still, he's doing a great job to keep the legacy of Elmo, and Kevin's doing wonderful things. He's involved in Henson, helping out with Rock Walk Back to Rock, and with Henson stuff. So Kevin is still around and do stuff, which is great. But I'm glad Ryan's that's taking over Elmo. I mean, especially that Kevin's been doing Elmo for almost like 30 years. So it just happens that the Ryan's is it's his turn to do it. Just think about it that way. But I'm glad that Ryan is doing great what he's doing with him now, with Elmo now. But
it definitely sounds like Elmo's definitely there. The voice is there now.
Oh yeah.
It took a while, but it's there now. He's got that Elmo voice.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we get to do a legacy character. It takes so much time to like practice and the voice and that before. It's like you can't do it like, oh, you're perfect at the first day. Like, no, it takes a while. But anyway,
and also the stress. Because it's like after Jim Henson died, imagine being Steve Whitmire, and it's like you're literally being told to take over for Kermit, and apparently it's
for real.
I know, and it's like reported that he didn't even pick up the puppet and start doing it straight away. Because obviously, when you think about it, that's the dude who created all of its. That's the face of the whole franchise.
Imagine,
and you've got that kind of pressure on your shoulders. Like now, this is your duty to continue, and it's like I couldn't even imagine.
Respect for Steve, man. Steve Whitmire, another great guy too.
Yeah.
Oh man. I can just go on about guests and not, but I was a bit, I will say Kevin Clash, and the one I said about corny, corny in a good way.
Man. That's not
which is
having Kevin Clash on, yeah. And who else?
No, that I wasn't meant by Kevin. I'm talking about the other name I was going to say,
okay.
And that is Greg Page.
Nah, come on, man. That's sick. You got Greg on the show too. That's incredible. So
the way I say corny, because I just said like not surprised that people think my favorite guest is Greg, so that's why I said that way. So
mate, you literally got the voice of our childhoods on the show. Like he's the most nostalgic voice.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, okay. All right, like getting in a chat with Greg, it was just amazing. I remember my reaction when we first got him. I remember me and Chris were like freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, we're actually in chat. Okay, now I'm gonna say this. I love all four OGs. You know, I mean, they're great at what they do. You know, with
Oh,
their own
yeah.
talents of the group and all that.
I feel
But
like, can I
if
just
people,
say, they
but
feel like they really are the Wiggles. Like, I'm not, no disrespect to the new Wiggles, but those four are just the Wiggles. They shouldn't even be the OGs. They just are the
yeah, because,
Wiggles.
yeah, especially now from how much they were like they're preschool teachers, and then they know how they do with children, and then
Mm.
you know it's just I think that's why Douglas works so well. Not just because of the amazing music, how they put it out, but just the way they are to children in like an uplifting way, like get into their level, so the kids will understand them, some sort of speak. It's just I don't know. I mean, because I don't think many of the new generation Wiggles are that, but I know some of them are fans of the Wiggles. Like I think Lockie, Sahai, Evie, Lucia, obviously. Um,
And even
uh,
Emma. I mean, God,
yeah,
Emma was at one of the
I'm
shows in the
yeah,
video,
I'm
Wheel Dance.
yeah, all five of them that I just mentioned. Yeah, they're all fans of the Wiggles. So, and I think with Simon, I think Anthony asked him to be involved in the group or something, and then
People forget,
oh
like, I
gosh,
love how, can I just say, people forget that, like, everyone's like, oh, I don't like Simon because, he doesn't play instruments. It's like, hey, just remember all the deep voices back when the Wiggles were at their peak. That was Simon. Like, he's been around
yeah,
with
it's
the
a touring
franchise
like 2002,
for, like, exactly. It's like people
like
need to remember,
movie
like, he played
Gremlins,
such a big role in that time, and we
movie
didn't even know
Gremlins,
it.
and then being a Manzilla, you know,
Wiggly
it's
Gremlin,
all
very
up
important.
to
Yeah, and a Wiggly
um,
Gremlin.
yep, and then then Gina, and then Gina the genie, all that, But anyway, I mean, it's just kind of like unfortunate that some of them don't. I mean, they didn't highlight like really like a how that like development of
Mm.
like of like I don't know, as a, how to do with children the right way, like how the way how like Anthony, Greg Murray, and Philip had after learning all that development of like how it's just kind of like I kind of wish they would do something with it, so that you can understand more. And I'm sure that they're how they are to children, but I don't know. But there's something how Greg Murray, Anthony did,
Yeah. Even
because
Jeff.
they
Jeff wasn't trained with kids, and that was even more special than anything else.
yeah, exactly. And, from three of them, just simply just being preschool teachers, and they are kind of know how to do because they learn from the best over at Macquarie University to do with children, and then there's something about the four guys, But anyway, um, but yeah, but if anyone asks me like who is my favorite Wiggle, it's Greg for me. Like there's something about Greg's voice. Like Greg's the reason why I honestly I got back into singing because of Greg. Because because pretty much just because of how the way he sang and such his voice sounds such a positive innocent way that he even when he was recording songs for albums, it feels like he sings like right in front of the kids. It's just but I don't know. There's something about Greg. I just love how the way he sang and how the way his presence of his singing is and how it's just amazing. And it's because Greg has such a lovely singing voice overall that and I kind of start to kind of learn more, kind of more learn like self-taught how the way he sang was, like for example, like, or sometimes he does like little ad libs of certain songs, like with "To Chugga Chugga Bigger Car," where in live shows where before he sings the chorus he goes "Ah to chug," just little things like that. I always imitate how the way Greg does, like on certain songs, because I feel like I can hear a little bit of Greg in me, even just because.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
but yeah,
well,
but
being an
something
Aussie
about
gives me that
Greg.
kind of advantage too, man. Trust me. Being an
But
Aussie
something
gives
about
that advantage.
huh?
I said being an Aussie gives that advantage too. It's like, ah, toot toot, chugga chugga, big red car, we're gonna
Yeah.
ride the whole day long.
Even I do a little bit of Australian accent, even with it too. um, Johnny,
But that's not, and by the way, for those listening, that's
yeah,
not a biased opinion of me casting myself as Greg in the fandub. It's just because they're Australian. I'm Australian. I've got the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nail
Makes sense.
it
But,
naturally without
yeah,
even trying to.
yeah, but
Although
yeah.
I will admit, Tyler can do a great impression of Greg, and that is incredible. And he's from the States. He's not even from Australia. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Oh, Tyler. Yeah.
He would nail an Australian accent if he came here.
Oh gosh.
I want a sandwich.
Oh no!
Sandwich. I want to
I
eat
was
it.
I was really thought of that. Oh my gosh. You beat me to it. That's funny. Chicken sandwich shuffle.
The chicken sandwich shuffle.
Bro, I can literally just picture myself if there are Manzillas on that song. It'd be like, I want a chicken. I think the sandwich. That's a chicken sandwich.
It's like just I know.
Yes.
And this Captain Bean like, I
want a chicken sandwich. It's chicken time. I want a chicken sandwich.
I know. Trust me. That was great.
What's been happening?
You legend. You honestly created something that now we're gonna remember for a long time. Oh, like it was supposed to be a prank, and it ended up becoming legendary.
Yeah, just because people like in those community thought like, wait a minute, when it was like it was just all like good fake editing.
Yeah,
but anyway,
very
yeah, it was interesting, but excuse me, but yeah, there's something about Greg. It's just he's a he's a great a great singer. So he inspired me to start singing. Getting in chat with Greg is just, oh my gosh. I remember before I was like nervous, like I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge. But getting in chat with him, talking about how time he did got to have with him, talking about the history of Wiggles for a little bit and all that. It was so fun.
And you get Tyler on the show too. When you interview the Wiggles anytime, like Tyler's on the show, and obviously because Tyler himself is
he Oh yeah, absolutely. He was involved in an episode with Murray, him as a guest co-host, and Jennifer Batten. He was one of the other guest co-hosts on that one because he's a big Michael Jackson fan as I do too. So because Jennifer Batten is like a guitarist for Michael Jackson's like a
Bad Tour.
Well, not just Bad Tour, but Dangerous Tour and History Tour. So she was involved in the 3 major tours as one of the lead guitarists. So that's pretty cool. So it's pretty cool that Tyler wants to do it. And then Ryan Boy, he was a guest host for our episode with Rick Silico. I love Rick too, but so many wonderful people we have on. But But because okay, so I just kind of want to talk. So since we kind of talk about Wiggle stuff a little bit, I was kind of answer how I first discovered them. So pretty much, I mean, really, I mean, it's not really a long answer to it. Really, I mean, more I just started watching them from VHSs and DVDs, and then watching them from Playhouse Disney, and then then on Sprouts and all that. And I remember there were times I just watched like either that one VHS or that one DVD. It depends on the day. I can just watch it. Like I just blown away, like how just because of how fun they were. Like I think that's the reason why they also work, because of how much genuine fun they really do had. They had a great time. Especially how they were in concerts. But now with puppetry, I'll quickly mention that.
I was going to say quickly.
I know. I know there are people.
I think your answer is pretty much everyone else's answer from the States. How did I discover the Wiggles? Through Barney.
Okay. It's with that too. I mean, I can't. Well, it's either of that. It's with that too. Watching promos from Lyric Studios with the Wiggles promos on the Barney videos. Those were so nostalgic. Earl Fisher, great voiceover guy that did those. But get ready to wiggle. Now with puppetry. Now I'm just going to quickly mention this. I know there are people were that, but I'm actually not one of those people, one of those kids back then who were like creeped out by the Wiggles puppets. I know.
Well, you were lucky.
I remember the first time I see them. I do remember like me being like, "What is?" Huh? I wasn't. I do remember me being like that. I think I remember I was like hopping. I was hyping myself up or something. I was just into it. Probably just because of the fast music. I think that's probably the reason why. Okay, out of the four of them, I think the most weirdest one is probably Anthony. Just because of how it's like, it's weird. Compared to see the four faces, literally, I think Anthony's probably looks the weirdest out of the four of them.
Not Captain or Greg or oh my god. Oh.
Anthony's just like, what was that?
You wouldn't want to see those in the middle of the night.
That's what Louis Greg said in one of the Remembers the Tries To series, where he's like, imagine you just like looking attic, and then you see and you found them in the middle of the night. Oh my god! And then what eyes are just like, that's weird.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, thank you.
Yeah, a bit, but yeah, I actually did enjoy the Wiggles puppets. But it's cool. It's cool that Jeff Puppet's still around. I think that's the only puppet that still exists, because obviously over time it's getting it starts to become toast. It's kind of already is with Jeff, but somehow they're still able to have Jeffs than anything else. Jeffrey. And then I just love watching them like a lot. Even I was growing up a little bit with the new gen too, even early on, like 2013, 2014 or something. Even, but like literally, like it's I'm just so blessed to be a Wiggles fan, because if I didn't get back to them, we wouldn't talk today. So, but Now, so, actually, before we talk about that part, I was thinking of. So it's actually before. So because some people may know me some from other things, be involved in some other people's videos, like Ryan's, because me being one of the members of the play along gang for the Ryan and the Barney play along videos. I remember it was like 2021. I think maybe 2020, 2021 around there. He was doing like an audition, which at that time was like the final audition to be joining the gang or something. And I remember I joined. I remember I did join, and then I remembered Ryan messaged me. I was like, "Hey, can I call you?" I was like, okay." And then he called me, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "Well, you're a part. Well, I'm just gonna say, congratulations, dude. You're selected to be a part of my game." And I remember I was excited. It was just, oh, it was great. It was awesome. Yeah, because I was being involved in his gang, I started to know more of his friends, and Ryan's a great guy. I'm glad that Ryan's got to be a guest host for like Rick Soko, and and me just knowing Ryan, Ryan's a great person. Yeah, I enjoyed his episode. I mean, and from
On the
what
show, on
inspiration,
this podcast, yeah.
yeah,
Twice.
and yeah, and from talking about his like weight loss, how much how inspiration he
That was
really is,
crazy. That's inspiring. It really is, man.
with the weight loss adventure that he has. It's like I'm so
Yeah, that,
happy for
that
him.
that's inspiring because it's like, dude, it's like he's just shown us that it is possible, and we need to stop lying to ourselves, and we just need to keep walking, be active every day. Like it's about taking care of yourself because
Yeah,
obviously, we all like to be at home and we like to eat. Trust me, eating is the hardest thing. And I know that for sure because that used to be me in the past, and I've changed my life for the better personally.
yeah, it's kind of something like that with me too.
Mm.
But
But you're fairly active yourself. You do a lot of videos of you dancing to the Wiggles on your social media, and you just and you
yeah,
obviously do Michael Jackson as well. In fact, that one video I think we all loved and remembered you doing was during your high school lunch, I think, and you sang "Man in the Mirror." Dance
oh
to
my oh my gosh, like that was a fun day. It
that
was just
looked
amazing.
great.
I mean, there were people like after I was done with it, people was like, some people said, "Great singing, great, great dancing," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, it's about thank you," Yeah, I remember people like applause, and that was a fun day. Yeah, I mean, yeah, um, uh, um, but yeah, it was, um, yeah, it was kind of crazy day. I was like so nervous because there were a lot of people like in front of me. Even some that people like at the up and about, like watching me from down there. Even so, I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. But yeah, it was. But I'll definitely will I'll definitely will um we'll remember that one for sure. But Um, and I also started to kind of like taught myself how the way Wiggles like choreograph their songs and all, just kind of like, too. But um, I mean, there's something about the OG choreography in certain songs just amazing. I mean, no respect to Karina, but it's just something about the OG choreography in certain songs. It's just part of the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, the
I don't know. There's something good
Halloran
charm
era,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, like
Um,
the Halloran School of Dance era, yeah.
hmm
During, yeah,
Oh yeah,
iconic.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Leanne Halloran, Leanne Ashley.
They should get every credit where credit's due, because they honestly helped create some of the most iconic dances for the Wiggles. They really did.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even the most basic routines, like Dorothy, would you like to dance with me? And like Rump Up a Stomp and can you point your fingers and do the twist?
Oh, 95 version. Oh my gosh. I like the 97 version, but there's something about the 95 version is just ooh, okay.
Yeah.
It depends on my day too, but
the Wiggles movie one's really iconic. I think that just is the perfect reflection of the Wiggles today. Like the music they did for that and the dancing, and I'm surprised it didn't get a bigger. Like I know it went to America through Hit Entertainment, but I'm surprised it wasn't really released theatrically, because it is still to this day their only full-length movie, only because they did it as a platform, as a way to, because they were getting really popular in Australia, like in such a short amount of time, and then they funded their own movie. That's the thing. The Wiggles stand out in so many different ways because they were self-funded. They did all of it by themselves. The TV show, the movie, like especially in the early years, they self-funded it all by themselves.
Yeah.
They produced it, they had the money. Like they did this, it's incredible. And even the movie itself, depending what you think of, I mean, let's face it, if it went over to America for the first time and no one knew who the Wiggles were, I'm not sure how it would have looked, but but look, it did build. They had very iconic songs in the movie, and obviously in Australia, they're just next level popular. Yeah, but
obviously.
Speaking of the Wiggles movie, I don't know, people are going to be waiting for me to talk about this with you on the show.
Let's
get right into it.
We're getting onto it. I mean, I was kind of more to go back to it, how I've gone involved with Ryan's play along gang, but yeah, that's pretty much. And then I started out. I think the very first one. Well, okay. Well, my exposure with play along stuff, the very first I ever watched, I think, was Jason Pleasant's Barney's Big Surprise play along. So that's the first ever play along we ever watched. Not the recent one, of course, but the one he did before, like 5 years ago or something. But I mean, Jason's great, very talented too. So I think the very first one, I think I might be involved. I might be wrong. It's a while ago, it might be a holiday in the park with Barney, I think, or a day apart with Barney, or it's one of those two. Maybe it might be one of them, but honestly, it's a lot of fun doing those videos and it might be a holiday in the park, but either way, y'all can just but it's always so fun getting a chance to be involved in those videos. It's always so fun every time. I'm glad that me and Ryan getting to do those things together, and Ryan's a great friend. He's great. So you got to move along. I gotta mention that because Lee wanted to mention me that was flipping out of him doing like keep on going strong. Yeah, you got to move. Very welcome, Ryan. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find like my initial reaction from Surinap. I don't know what happened to it right now, but anyway.
Anyway, So what I was saying was
yeah, you're one.
So when we go back to 2021, when we go back to 2021, so two things were happening at the time. You were starting your own podcast, me on the other hand. And by the way, this was the 30th anniversary of the Wiggles. Now they're 35 years old. How crazy is that? That it's been another 5 years. So now we are truly getting old. We are truly getting old. But this was the 30th anniversary of the Wiggles at the time. And of course,
now 35. What in the world?
Now we're at 35. But during that time, 5 years ago, I can't believe it's been 5 years. Crazy. That was when I wanted to do
my show.
Yeah, exactly. Do your show. But also, I wanted to do something to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Something big, something grand. I know, a fan dub, a redubbing of the Wiggles movie. And when I was casting, obviously, I needed a Dorothy. And would you mind doing the honors?
Huh?
The voice. The voice.
I mean, okay. So y'all, it was, I don't know. How that was with the on post on the actual like fan dub. Of course, obviously, it wasn't like my actual. It was just kind of more like higher pitch, like editing. But
you can still do it without the pitch.
To be honest, I haven't done Dorothy voice in a long time that I just don't really think I do not really think I will be able to do it now. Probably I could do oh gosh, I was turning to Bean for a second. Sorry, Bean. See or some there you go.
Oh no.
I can't do the like I can't do it as accurate as I was because I just can't do it. And probably because I'm just more into Bean's voice now. It's just much better than doing record. Like sometimes it takes so much strain on my voice to do her. Yeah. I love Dorothy. She's great, but
look, just when you were recording it at the time, this was like 5 years ago. You were fine. You were actually doing pretty well. In fact, I thought you did pretty well, and I don't think anyone should criticize. Like, dude, what I found frustrating is that people came after me. Some people, I won't name who they are, and they were criticizing me about the fact that I didn't cast a female for the role of Dorothy. And my answer is always, well, where were you, or where were they when we were holding auditions? Like, I held auditions like everyone else, any normal person would do when they do a fan dub or when they do production. It's like I didn't get, like, I rarely got, enough people to actually do the voice. So obviously, naturally, I gave you the part because I felt like you did a good Dorothy impression at the time, in your words.
Yeah.
And no, it was, and honestly, when it came to my next fan dubs, and it wasn't like a direct, it was kind of more of like it was like, dude, it's like people wonder, if people are wondering, why didn't I cast Jake in Space Dancing or Cold Spaghetti Western? I don't know. Do you want to read the messages that I got from people who were criticizing me for that Dorothy voice in the last one? Didn't want to do that again. Like, I just didn't. It wasn't like a personal thing.
Really?
It was more of like I didn't. It was like more of a I didn't want to get criticized for that again, because obviously the last thing I want is to get more like backlash of like, oh, you're very biased, you're sexist, you're not casting female actors or anything like that. And it's like, that's not true. I think my problem was, I don't think the first one was diverse enough, I think, in my opinion. Which it was still good.
I can tell like with the second one.
They came after me because I feel like that's the thing, bro. It's like they came after me because I think the main reason is because it wasn't diverse enough, and like I had the choice, and I guess that makes. It kind of makes sense, but also, come on, I had auditions.
Yeah, and the second one was Space Dance. You even have. Yeah, like you had like some more female stuff, like some female people on the second one.
But hey, look, at least the
Now you
fan
got
dub
it.
got enough attention to get more fans. That's the good thing, is that more people found out about my fan dubs through the first one, which I think that was the whole goal. The whole goal with the first one was to, you know, give back to the community, obviously, to celebrate the. I mean, by the way, it came out a year later. It didn't come out in the 30th anniversary. But what worked is that it was the 25th anniversary of the Wiggles movie, so that's why it came out in December of 22.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it worked out. But obviously,
it'll be 30 next year. Oh my gosh.
I know. Oh my god, it's going to be 30 next year, which will also make 5 years since. No, this year's 5 years since the soundtrack fan dub. Next year will be the 5-year anniversary of the actual fan dub.
Wow.
I know, how crazy.
Wow.
Why are we having our own little anniversaries for these things? It's so crazy, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, thank you for saying that my Dorothy voice wasn't that bad, but it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of just more. I just can't really do it anymore.
No, it's okay. And I just wanted to clarify.
I just can't do
to clarify that because I know you're on the because just for having you on the show, just because people were actually frustrated at me. Not everyone, but it was just a couple of people messaging me being like, "What?" Like they were just criticizing me for not having a female voice for Dorothy and like Mrs. Bingle, and it's like, well,
right. I mean, yeah, it's kind of depends how when auditions that it came, but thankfully, you know, like I said, with space dancing, there are some female people that got to be involved, you know, and now at that time, now
now people can shut up about that. Yeah, like you can't come after me and say I wasn't diverse with my other ones.
Yeah, I mean, at that time you kind of like learning to put the like that diverse kind of cast.
I think it gets. I think the thing about the fan dubs is that just like the podcast you do, it evolves over time and it gets better because we learn from our mistakes and then we fix it. And then
absolutely,
it constantly changes, and it's like then it ends up becoming much better. Like that's how we evolve.
Absolutely. That especially, I'm sure, yeah. Oh yeah, obviously, you know, me, even me, I made mistakes, you know, but it makes us grow. That makes the podcast much better, just from the flow behind the scenes and all that. You know, we're all gonna make mistakes. We're not gonna be perfect when we're gonna start it. Like, no, you know, like we'll keep learning. You know, even when we're doing it for like 5 years or 10 years or something, we'll still keep learning. You know.
Exactly. And I think that's important. Like, obviously, and by the way, like because I'm doing this on a laptop, it's gonna run out of battery soon, and I may have to stop the episode. But like eventually, but I just want to say this is important. If people criticize you, and this is for all the viewers out there who want to become creators, there will be people along the way who are gonna try to like tell you what you should and shouldn't do for your channel. But if it's something that you personally don't want to do because it's something that either you're not interested in or you don't want to go down that path, like I had this thing with the AI covers and people still demand me to make more, and it's like, dude, no. Like I did not come this far on YouTube, worked hard in the fan dubs for years just to be making AI covers like a lazy jerk. like a douchebag.
Yeah. People are just interesting.
People really don't like. Sometimes I don't think they appreciate or understand. Not everyone, but some people don't seem to understand or appreciate hard work that goes into certain products and shows. Like even for you, like it's obviously harder for you because you got to actually get in contact with the guests, schedule the times, and sometimes depending where they are, you're recording at like midnight just to get an episode.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember something like that, but obviously there are times we have to do it like on evenings or something, just because of the person's availability. You know, it depends. You know, there's so much preparation that goes to it. You know, it's a lot to take in sometimes. You know, but yeah. So of course, you know, I got to be in virtual voice of Dorothy. Original voice of Dorothy, and then got to be Murray's Booth and Cool Spaghetti Western band up. I know Cool Spaghetti Western. I mean, that was kind of like, it was when I was very busy at the time. But I was like, oh, okay. So Murray's Booth was one of those things that it was just available, and it was only like a few lines. It's like, you know what, just for cameo, I'll do it. And so it's like
and obviously, for you personally, like, I can understand you being busier now because you're doing...
give it to the fair.
Yeah, I can obviously understand you being busier now. Like, even if you don't have enough time for other stuff, only because you're doing a lot of the puppetry work, and of course, your show's taken off and it's already become really popular. So that's the other thing. Like, so you obviously consider the podcast as like your main output of like content creating, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, well. I mean, I'll get to talk a little bit like my puppetry stuff now, really, but just because of me just watching a lot of wonderful puppetry shows growing up, like with some of the shows I already mentioned earlier, and Blue Swoon too. A lot of wonderful puppetry projects out there that I watched growing up. And I was like during my senior
travel to events in Washington DC, and you meet all these great people.
I will. Yeah, I'll talk. Yeah, I'll talk about that too. But yeah, I remember, like, I remember, just because of me watching all these shows, I didn't really thought about about doing puppetry as much. I didn't really thought of that until I was like during the senior year of high school, and I was like, I didn't realize like there are people that do it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I thought of the Deffinbaugh Puppet Lands, and that's I mean, it's kind of slowly with new videos, but all I can say is they're actually earlier today I literally just shot a new one, so I'm excited whenever that goes out. That's just yeah, I always love doing it whenever I have a chance to do puppetry stuff. That's another thing that I love to do. Not just except podcasting stuff. I love to experiencing myself. Experiencing how to learn how puppeteers do, how to learn certain things. It's always a fun process. Sometimes even, but it's a challenge, but you kind of make it a fun challenge, you know what I mean? To love it,
That's the thing too. And I even thought about it. Like, can I just say, I even thought about it too because I love puppetry as well. Like, I love how it's almost like for me, it's like a human it's like watching a human cartoon. It's like that's what makes them so amazing. But also, I've really thought about it, like trying to have my own custom made persona, so that way I can do these things like on camera with like if I don't have enough money to afford a fursuit and a fur hair, because obviously the furry suits are expensive in the thousands. Obviously it's like a cost of a car, and it's either that or making a puppet. And I think honestly, if I wanted to go down the route of making a puppet, that would be amazing, because that means I can do those kind of collaborations. But you obviously you've been to the next level. Like, you actually go to these events. You've traveled to like Washington DC to meet the people who've worked on Sesame Street.
Yeah. Okay.
All these other shows.
So it was 2023 when that. Yeah. So I remember it was me and my mom were there. It was a Kennedy Center. It was where Between the Lines was going to do be involved at Games Expo. Peter Linz, the wonderful people, Jennifer Barnhart, Cleo from Between the Lions, who performed the Cleo, the mom lion Between the Lions, who's actually now performing Zoe on Sesame Street, and she's now a director on Sesame. I mean, she's done a lot of wonderful things, not just those series, and Peter Linz, of course, such a lovely guy, Theo, the dad lion, and Tutter. Pip, a Bear in Big Blue House, Snook on It's Big World, Walter on the Muppets, Scott in the first two seasons of The Puzzle Place, of course, Ernie and Harry on Sesame Street now. And Peter's done great things now. I mean, and Jen too. they're great people. But I remember when I first saw the video that they're going to there, I was like, I told my mom, like, we gotta like oh my gosh, I want to go there. Like, it was, oh my gosh, it was so fun meeting them, and I got to meet Chris Serve too, pretty much one of the original music people on Sesame Street, and one of the co-creators of Between the Lions, pretty much with Norman Stiles. Chris Serve's such a great guy. He knows that the Lions shirt that I have. It's like, I want to take a picture of it. It's like, I mean, I was like, hey Jake. It's like, and then me and Chris hug each other, and then and I was showing my fan art, and then me and Jen and Pierre kind of help out and just talk a little bit, and then I was talking a little bit with Theo and Cleo, and Bean was just talking with them and all that. And I said to them, "Thank you very much for what you do. It's so great that you guys are here." I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jake." And then both of them hugged me, and it was a great day. They're two wonderful.
I just say the cutest thing that I've seen from that event, and it warms my heart to a million pieces. Just you, nosy.
Yup. Oh, I love that.
You.
I love that so much. I haven't looked at that in a while, but sometimes when I get to watch it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's why puppetry is so great. Like, you don't have to worry about you. You worry about you all have to think about is just your buddy. That's what I just love about But yeah, it was a great day. It was like I'm going to do 25th anniversary interview with Between the Lions, including Pierre, Jen, Chris, and all these wonderful people that got to be involved in Between the Lions for the 25th anniversary last year. That was so fun. I mean, there's so many people there, but it was still fun regardless. It was just amazing.
Oh, dude, I can imagine.
Yeah, but before we're gonna start wrap things up soon. So of course I'll say about my definition of nostalgia to kind of end off. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you some of those pictures I'm talking about. So here is one of me holding a bear toy.
Oh, like Bear in the Big. Oh, there it is, like a Bear in the Big Blue House. What is that kind of toy?
I think it's one of those things we had to click. I know some of my friends told me what it is, but I always forget what it is. But I know some Bear fans will know what this is. But yeah, it's I think it's some sort of like a pie kind of like a game where you press for Ojo to go or characters go. I don't know, and here is some of me with Blue's Clues stuff. Here is me holding the blue plush and getting to have Tracy Page Johnson the show. It was so fun. I can just go on if I want to go through all the guests, but because you're a big fan, I'm sure there's a lot of great ones.
There'd be a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
and can I just say, it's like I'm talking. It's like I've been talking to you for an. Oh, there we go. Oh, and that is a. Is that
a Backyardigans?
I was gonna say it looked like the Wiggles, but I was like, it's upside down, so it's the Backyardigans. Yeah.
I will show you that, but there's some more Blue's Clues of me holding the birthday book or something. There's a couple of those. There it is. And even that from my kindergarten picture. I remember I was showing the Tracy before I was taking a picture. And then
Hey Steve.
and then Tracy's like, oh my god. I think the reason why this was shown is probably because in order for me to smile, they have to get me something that I like in order for me to smile.
Yeah.
I like how happy I was.
You looked happy, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say, just me talking to you for an hour and a half. I was gonna say, me talking to you for an hour and a half. The whole time,
There it is. Go
There it
Spaghetti
is.
Western.
Cold Spaghetti Western.
Go Spaghetti Western VHS.
Wow, man,
Uh,
that's crazy. I was going to say the whole time I'm chatting with you, I feel like I'm getting death stared by Bean in the background, and I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode. Is having Bean on, man. We got to have Bean.
yeah, of course. Before, yeah. So
Before we
before,
do that, is there any kind of advice? Actually, this is a good way I always like to finish the show. Is there any
yeah.
advice you would like to give to any of our viewers who are watching us together? They're both inspired by our shows, absolutely love them. But what would be your main inspiration, or I mean, guidance? I mean, advice. Oh God, there's a lot of words to use. Advice to use to encourage if any of them want to follow in the same footsteps as you.
And in terms of podcasts,
In terms of like podcasts, content creating, puppeteering, I mean, there's a lot.
okay. Really, just keep loving it. Just if you want to love doing it, just love it. Do something to get out to the world, and if you want to do a podcast, make a podcast. You'll learn yourself. You'll make mistakes. You'll eventually you'll learn, and you'll. Really. If you want to do a podcast, just do it. That's kind of what it is with me. And I didn't really expect for this to have the following that we have. And thanks to all of you that are watching. And really, just do it. That's all you really need
Just
for.
do
it. And before we're gonna have him out, pretty much we usually ask at the end of our episode, like, what's their definition of nostalgia. My definition of nostalgia is like, it's literally where it gives me so much comfort, brings me so much joy, that watching things that makes me happy, that when life was very simple, and that even no matter what, there are days that have bad days, or if sometimes my mental can be all over the place at times for certain reasons. Nostalgia is one of those things that always gets to me, always cheers me up, and always gets through my day. Keep myself going, and just because those are happy things to think of. Wait about how and just it's just thinking about how wonderful nostalgia life was back then. It just brings so much happiness, and that's just why happy is on the title. So
Yeah.
so really, it's just it brings it's always lovely for many reasons to always think about when you have a time to think about, oh, I remember I did this and this and that. Oh yeah, right. I remember during the Sprout days where the Wiggles on there, where I sometimes watch them through Xfinity on demand, sometimes from the Sprout airings. And I remember I'll be so excited to talk to my mom. Hey, mom, the Wiggles are on. And she was like, okay. That's how much those four guys, I was into those four guys. And now I'm involved in the community on a thing that I got back to that changed my life for the better, honestly. And so it's just amazing to think about.
It is. And can I just say, like, I wanted to, what you gave your definition of what nostalgia is. I'm just going to give what mine is quickly before I wrap up. Obviously,
wait a minute. Joey's having nostalgia now.
So my definition, I'm going to be really quick with mine, and I think if I had to use one word to describe nostalgia, it would be this, and it'd be the same as the Wiggles. Joy. Like, there's just so much joy in nostalgia, and we feel we're in a happy place for that, and I think is incredible, and I think it's important to touch on and keep. But anyway,
Yes, that sounds
I
right.
think that's a great way to finish the episode. Thank you all so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in today's episode. And hello, Bean.
Hello, Jerry.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, it's so great to have you.
Hello, Jerry. It's good to see
Hello,
you too.
It's great to see you. We were just telling everyone that unfortunately the episode's wrapping up, but we like to thank you, Bean, and thank you, Jake, for so much for being a part of today's episode. And if you all enjoyed this
Yeah, you're very
episode,
welcome, Joey. Thank you again for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
and you too.
Yep.
You too.
Yep. Yes. You too, buddy.
And if you all enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date. And also don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Yes.
Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Oh yeah, we use a whole bunch of them too. Just like you, Jake.
and
Don't worry.
and all and all the all the things that you want to follow me on, all that it's going to be just in the description. So
Description, yeah, and the show. We'll make sure, and also be sure to follow Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. They've got some wonderful guests, and they, you will not be disappointed. They have some interesting people who've worked in our childhoods. So definitely go subscribe to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show as well. And before we wrap up, Jake, Bean, would you like to do the honor of doing our sign off, or just sign off?
yeah.
You know where it is.
Yeah, I know. As I'll say this, I know it may be different for you, but because I'm here to kind of, that we always do, at the very end of our episode, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Yeah, that's what. But until you see the next episode, the very first episode of the new year. Me, wow. Hope you all will continue watching new wonderful episodes coming your way on the Joey Wiggle Experience. But until then, keep nostalgia alive. And
Keep nostalgia
Joey
alive.
will see you all very soon. And I'm sure me and B will be back on again. So
yeah, I can't wait,
anyway,
man. Keep
take care,
nostalgia
everyone.
alive.
Keep nostalgia alive. See ya.
Woo-hoo! See ya.
Bye.
See ya.